Hello everybody, my name is Chad Johnson. This is my weather and climate project. This project is over ice storms. The title of this project is Steps for Preparing for an Ice Storm. Just what is an ice storm? An ice storm is considered a storm of freezing rain and widespread glaze formation. In order for our tri-state to experience a storm to do this effect, a few things must be met in order for this to proceed. This includes freezing rain, sub-freezing temperatures, and even sleet. Information about ice storms. Ice storms are very hard to predict for meteorologists. It's hard to say when and where exactly an ice storm will occur. Some storms occur with little or no warning. In the United States, most ice storms are in the northeastern part of the country, but damaging storms have occurred further south. It can happen here at home. A wintry mix moved into southern Indiana and central Kentucky on the night of Monday, January 26, 2009. Precipitation began as light freezing drizzle and freezing rain over the entire area, yet changed to sleet and then snow overnight into the early morning hours of Tuesday across southern Indiana and northern Kentucky. Over 6 inches of snow accumulated across the northernmost sections of Kentucky. Freezing rain continued over southern Kentucky. On January 27th, precipitation changed to freezing rain over southern Indiana and northern Kentucky, and rain over southern Kentucky. Ice became an inch thick was reported in many locations after the freezing rain. Tuesday night, freezing rain and sleet continued over southern Indiana. Freezing rain turned into rain over northern Kentucky, and rain occasionally heavy continued over southern Kentucky. Other slight changes included mainly river flooding developed in some spots by Wednesday from the steady rain. On the morning of Wednesday, January 28th, precipitation changed over to snow from northwest to southeast across the area. Over 3 to 4 inches of additional snow accumulation piled up in the north, with less to the south. This just shows the amount of snow over the area from this ice storm. This shows the precipitation that fell about this time. Damages to the locals. The storm caused Kentucky's largest power outage on record, with over 600,000 homes and businesses without power across the state. Property damage was widespread, with the damage due to falling trees, large limbs, and power lines weighed by the ice. In the Louisville metropolitan area, over 200,000 lost power, and it took up to 10 days to get everyone hooked back up. Area school systems were closed for an entire week. Several emergency shelters were set up across the affected region. In Louisville's local school system, 69 schools lost power. Emergency personnel. Transformers blew frequently. As more power lines fell and conditions deteriorated, the Evansville Fire Department raced from scene to scene. Fire department crews made 275 runs, which a normal night consists of 8 to 10 runs, including 5 structure fires and several rescues of people being trapped from falling branches. No one was believed to have been seriously injured. In all, 24 lost their lives in the whole Commonwealth, and it would be nearly a month before everyone had electricity in their homes again. Total outlook of the storm. An ice storm is a very drastic weather storm that affects people in their everyday, day-to-day lives. This storm doesn't heal our environment or our loved ones by itself. We have to come together as a community and prepare ourselves for disasters, because they do happen even when we don't expect it. Outlook in the future. In order to prepare for such an event, especially because of its unexpected arrival time, there are many things to prepare for. To ensure that our families and friends are safe, we must go to the fullest extent and become prepared and stay prepared. Here's some pictures of the after effects of the ice storm. As you can see, a lot of damage was reported, and it took months and months to repair all the damage. We must come together. There are steps to take in order to be prepared and survive this storm. These ways that make our lives easier to beat this storm include stocking up on necessary supplies, trimming roads and driveways, trimming and clearing power lines and paths. So, first thing we must do in order to beat this storm, stock up on necessary supplies. Imagine you are stuck at home and cannot leave. The temperatures are freezing outside, and you don't know when anyone can come to your rescue or when you'll be able to leave. Think of what you have in your house right now and what you might wish to have. Some necessary items that need to be kept at people's homes and stocked up on a regular basis include flashlights, batteries, canned food, gloves, water, and gasoline. Supplies. Whenever the power goes out, the dark is here to stay. Flashlights come in very handy, yet people don't think about it till it's too late and they don't have them. It's always a good thing to stay stocked up on extra flashlights with extra batteries. Flashlights don't go bad, and neither do batteries. Keep a stash of flashlights in a place that you won't use on a regular basis. That way they are new and ready to go when an emergency happens. This is always good to have them whenever you need them. Supplies. An essential in order to survive in bad time is food. Our bodies cannot go more than a few days without food. Therefore, being stuck at home, food needs to be stocked up, without a doubt. There are many foods that can be stocked up, for example, meats. Keep plenty of meat in your freezer to supply you and your family. You can always stay stocked up on meat year-round. The more meat you eat in your freezer, just replace it when you remove some. Doing this will keep your freezer stay full of meat at all times. Always remember to rotate the meat, which means writing the date purchased on it, and always cooking or grilling the oldest meat. That way the newest meat always stays in the freezer. Other supplies. Canned food is also a very good food to keep in store at home for backup. Most canned foods have a 2 to 5 year expiration date. This may not be the best and tastiest food to eat, yet it will keep you alive for the time being. Many canned foods that would make a great meal include Campbell's soups, Spam, and canned beans. And you have to remember, most of these canned foods last a long time, which will be good to stay stocked up on because they won't go bad for a while. Another great essential to have a bunch on hand is water. Water doesn't go bad, and you will need water in order to survive. A great way to keep an abundance of this on hand would be to keep your used 2-liter bottles and milk jugs and wash them out and fill them up with tap water. You can store these in closets and garage. It won't hurt to put many jugs back because you will need it and it won't go bad. Other supplies. Another thing that is key to cold weather is gloves. In case you are going outside in sub-freezing temperatures, you need to stay warm and keep your body temperature warm. Going out to fill the generator in the cold weather will require you to touch cold objects and barehanded objects in order to get the job done. By stocking up on gloves, place them with flashlights and don't depend on the gloves on a daily basis while working in the yard in the summer. Keep them for emergencies only. Another thing you need gloves for is if you have a fireplace. In order to go outside and handle firewood, you always need to keep your body warm. The next step is to trim roadways and driveways. Whenever ice and snow come to the ground, it brings tree limbs down to the ground as well. As branches lean to the ground, they block roadways and driveways. When emergency storms like ice storms occur, we have to have clear roadways and paths for emergency vehicles and snowplows to travel. If everyone were to clear their driveway back and clear trees back at least 50 feet from the driveway or roadway, when ice and limbs fall to the ground, they won't be hanging over the driveways and blocking them. Driveways and roadways. If everyone would take part in cleaning their own driveway back in the front of their yard by the road, the whole community would be clean and prepared. This would allow for easier and faster snowplows and emergency vehicles to get around, which means the roads will get clear faster. Everyone would make a huge difference at the end because each little bit would add up. If everybody took care of their own driveway and helped their neighbor, then the whole community will be done and ready. Trim back power lines and paths. As the rain and freezing rain falls from the sky, the ice collects and builds up on the power lines. As the ice builds, the lines get heavy and start to sag down. So do the tree limbs directly over the power lines. This makes for a big mess of down power lines and trees. If everyone were to clean the paths that our local power lines followed, when trees begin to sag, they aren't near the power lines. Also, if a power line is down, utility trucks have a clear path of getting within a fixable reach of the line. Trim back power lines. As the same situation as cleaning driveways and roadways back, the same thing works for power lines. Every person that cleans their own driveway and power lines makes a huge difference overall if everybody takes a part. Easier access for utility trucks and a less chance for limbs. Taking a power line down greatly reduces if we all take part in this preparation process. If all the power line paths are trimmed back, then when the trees fall, they won't be on the power lines, which means it reduces the chance for a power line coming down. Yet if it does, the utility trucks have a clear path to get to that to fix it. Overall, like I said before, in order to prepare for a natural disaster like an ice storm, we have to come together and all take part. In order to do that, we have to use a few ideas that are very helpful and will make our life easier. These ideas include stocking up on necessary supplies like food, water, and gloves, trimming back power lines and power line paths for utility trucks, trimming back trees from roadways in order to help prevent limbs falling from the heavy ice. These are my references, and this is the end of my project.